All right, perfect. Lisa, she did that with her mind. Hey, I am super excited to see all of you now that I can actually see all of you. And if you could type in the chat bar, what are you most excited about tonight? Hey, Mr. Mark Lund, nice to see you. Jim Clark, what's going on? Jeff in the house, my man, Tom, Casey, what's up, brother? It's been a little minute, okay? Kevin Henderson, what's happening? And so why don't you tell me in the chat bar, what are you most excited about, Don, Charles? And also, where are you logging in from? Thank you. Where are you logging in from today? I'm logging in from the Jersey Shore. Let me open this up a little more for me because, man, I need to see like more of you guys here. Let's see. All right, Andrew, of course, another Jersey person. What else do we have here? We have PA, we got Australia. I think we're at least in we have people, I think, in 10 different countries right now. So that's really exciting. And wow, we just have so many people all over the world now going in, I call it 3.5 years young of having people following the Food Dog Group and what we do. Today, we're here to talk about the Business Owner's Black Book to recession-proofing your business. I'm always a little blown away why there's not like hundreds of people here, but I'm glad that you're here. There's only going to be one caveat today. I am going to have a couple bonuses for you. I am, Mark. You're not surprised. You know how we roll, right? But in order to get the bonus, you have to be on screen. So when it comes time for the bonus, if you're not on screen, I'm like, what's up, right? Like, I need to see you. Now, if you don't have a camera or you're naked, stay off screen, but you're going to let us know in the chat bar. Because these things that we built, hey, Lori, like these are things we built for my own companies, okay? And why I feel this, and are any of you new to my world? Type in new if you're new. Is this like a first time? You haven't been in my world before and you're just like had nothing better to do and you ran out of Game of Thrones? All right, thank you, Wolf. I'm glad I made the cut over Cobra Kai, which my 22-year-old and I have started, which I'm really excited. Mark Lund, don't judge me, but I know there's a new series, but we just started Cobra Kai from the beginning. So I'm explaining to my daughter, sweep the leg, and that's Mr. Miyagi. So we only got one of you new. The rest of you, it looks like you've been in my world a while. So why don't you type in, how long have you been in my world? Has it been like a minute, a month, a decade? Chris Porton, long time, brother. Nice to see you, 16 years. Wow, holy mackerel. My wife always takes the win because we're together since we're 15 years old. And so that's quite a while. Has anybody else been with their partner or wife or significant other for a really long time? Type in like how long, because that's why we're here, right? Isn't that why we're here? It's not really about you. It's about the people you care about. And wow, look at all the things, how long some of you have been. Wow, this makes me so excited. You know what's even more exciting is for some of you that are new, like Wolf to my background, let me give you the quick version. Some of you that have heard my version over and over, why don't you just like humor me and make me feel good and be like, oh, Mike, that's so incredible. Okay, I'll feel better that way. Oh, I wonder if we're in breakout rooms. I might not have the thing that I want. We're testing out some new functions here, so I might not have it. So I'll just explain it to you guys. If you go back many years ago, and this is why recession proofing is so important, because has anybody lived through 2008? Type in 2008. Not like you were alive, like you had to deal with it. Did you have to deal with it? Okay, some of you. So if you went through 2008, you understand, I hope, why I'm doing this training. And why I'm doing it for free is because if I look at my life and I go back to when I'm 15, I'm on my own. I'm going to give you the fast version. And then by time I was 18, 19, I was teaching kids in the DARE program. So I was like their last. Do you guys know the DARE program? Type in DARE program. I was the last ditch effort between a teenager and juvenile or prison. That's what was me. And they allowed me to teach the DARE program at such a young age because one, I was on my own really young and I took a different path. And I'm not saying this to brag and I'm not here to judge you either, but I've never done drugs my entire life. I've never drank alcohol my entire life. Some of you probably look at me and maybe some of you profile me. He's definitely a drug dealer or something because I'm tattooed. And do you have tattoos? Anybody with tattoos? Can you type in tattoos so I don't feel like super weird tonight? Is that all right? Okay, all right. Long as we got some other people with tattoos, the rest of you can go get tattoos. And from there, doing martial arts for 38 years now. Any other martial artists? Give me a hand up. Anybody? Okay, you just watch UFC and Cobra Kai. All right, awesome. Wolf, martial artist, welcome. Doing martial arts for 38 years, it's given me a lot of discipline, and you probably won't know the fancy names, but maybe Wolf will know it. I've been trained in traditional Daitaru Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, Shorin-ryu Karate, all the Okinawan weapons, Taruwaza Kenjutsu, which is live sword. I've done a half a decade in, Systema and reached pretty high rankings of mastery in martial arts. And as that helped me, because I want to give you some pieces, because I got to connect the dots. I'm going to give you lots of content. I'm going to give you lots of strategies. But if we don't set a foundation, then I'm going to give you strategies that are going to fall away. Oh, Krav, awesome. I love Krav guys and gals. From there, I made a decision like some of you. Who's the business owner? Give me a hand up, business owners. Okay, business owners, yeah. Type in what type of business you do in the chat bar. I had the crazy idea like the rest of you. The idea was I could probably do business better than my idiot boss. Can anybody relate to that or no? Like I figured my boss was an idiot and I got to be able to do the same thing as him. And then I found out I was an idiot, just like my boss, right? Like I thought I knew how to do everything and I only knew how to do it as good as him. That took me on the journey to build a service company. And let me see if I can find a picture for those of you that are new. If I can find a quick picture, I'll use it. If not, you'll just have to imagine it in your mind because clearly there's a slight glitch the way we're doing it this time for me to share things compared to what I've done in the past. But I grew a company from me and my partner. Oh, I'll share this with you. This is a really old school thing. And I built this company from just a couple trucks to 165 trucks and from a couple employees to 200 employees. And then I sold that in 2017. I sold that and I sold it for a very high multiple at that time. I'm not bragging about the multiple because it's really not impressive today. But back then, well, this picture give you a big enough snapshot. Back then when I sold it, it was a huge multiple. This is a baby picture of, let me show you. This is a little baby picture when I was just growing up like a toddler in business. That's a baby one. That's not a Photoshop. That's just like van. So I had 165 of these things. And I still didn't really know how to do things. But here, this is, if you want to know what I look like way before, I don't know, I guess we could call it wisdom hair, Mark. I don't know what we'll call it. We'll call it like ninja gray or something. But like, this is me and my one business partner back then, a long time ago when we're trying to figure it out. And I did figure it out. We did 32 million a year. We were tracking for 40 million. I sold it and I signed my name and walked away and never went back. And I have a question for all of you. how many of you dream, and you could just type in the chat bar, dream, you dream of building something you can sell for legacy style wealth? Can you type in dream in the chat bar? I hope you're typing in dream, because it is a dream. And I am super proud because from there, before I sold the company, I started a movement. Does anybody know the movement that I started? Type in the movement. I'll see if I could find a picture here of the, if I didn't want to find the picture, I would be tripping all over it. But of course, when I want to find it, I can't find it. What is on my screen?
I got someone sharing their thing.
Yeah, somebody unshare your screen. Thank you. I think maybe we also, Jen, can you write a note for the team? I think we have some protocols that we didn't lock down, whoever built this today. CEO Warrior. Yeah, so I just started, Heather, hey, what's happening? I decided to create a movement, and in 2014, because I was completely frustrated by the weakness I was seeing in the service industry. In the service industry, it was filled with a whole bunch of people teaching in suit and ties, and they were teaching very old, dated stuff, and people were suffering. And there was other organizations out there that were doing their best, but they were creating better businesses, not creating better people and businesses. So I went out and I made a decision after talking to my wife that I was going to create this movement. And the movement ended up being CEO Warrior, which I trained over 1,000 business owners, and I had at least 20,000 service people come through our trainings. I did 35, some guys on here like Tom Casey and Jim Clark, I built 35 3-day trainings a year. Jim Clark, don't ask me what was wrong with me, and I'd never do that again in my lifetime. So like 35 3-day events, and you guys know because you were at all the damn events all the time, and we were breaking tables, and so much testosterone was happening in the room. I wish I knew Lisa then, because she's a massage expert, and she would have had to fix everybody up. And by doing that, I learned a lot of patterns, trends, behaviors, and habits. And team, type that in the chat bar. There's patterns, trends, behaviors, and habits. And while I was studying these patterns, I was trying to put together what made someone ultra successful and what made someone not to the level they wanted to. And I started to connect some dots. Now, I am super proud because I got people on here that have friends. And Jen, we got another. Jen, you're making a note of every single thing that's like.
Come on, babe, of course.
All right, in case you guys don't know, that's my beautiful wife, Jennifer. She's going to document every little glitch that we're finding here tonight. But in the last 36 months, over 70 people, Tom Casey, 70, Jim Clark, 70 companies of people that have been in my world sold and exited their company. And 90% of them became decamillionaires. If you don't know what a decamillionaire, can you just write it down? Because it's not about them. It's about what you want to become someday. Decamillionaire. That changes legacy after legacy after legacy. And we have I got 3 or 4 more people in the next couple months that have been in my world, and I'm honored. I'm honored you're here. Not because you're here. I'm honored that you're willing to learn something tonight to hedge your bets against, let's just call it imminent future. Imminent future. Now, when I say imminent future, I'm not talking about, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not talking about imminent doom and gloom. I'm talking about imminent opportunity if you know how to get it. But if you don't know how to protect what you have, you're probably at some of the greatest risk ever. I don't know. For some of you, I'm curious who's going to be excited. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks for joining us. Who's excited by this part? So there's possibly going to be, in the next 10 years, at least one full-size robot in everybody's house. Are you excited about this? Are you excited? Lisa, no, I'm excited about it because you know what, Lori? I just want my robot. Like we got sometimes this car that drives down the street late at night and like they have one of these jacked up mufflers. And I'm just going to go like this. I'm still trying to decide on my name of the robot. I think I'm going to call it Ninja. So I'm going to be like, Ninja, go handle that. And this robot's going to run down the road and just like rip this muffler off. There was like a movie like this, right? Wasn't it, where the robots fought? I'm so into that. And so that's changing the game along with everything else that's changing the game. Now, when the game changes, you might want to write this down. And I hope, is it okay if I use my language? Can you say boom in the chat bar? Because if I have to sugarcoat myself, which most of you know I'm not gonna, so if I curse and it offends you, you pray for me a little bit tonight. I'm good with myself. I live very well inside my own mind, but I don't want to give you an act here, if that's okay. So when I look at that, I say to myself, there is a land of opportunity. There is. There is, if you go back in time and you look at the early 1900s, in the early 1900s, when we had this industrialized age, this is some of your grandparents, maybe some of your parents, depending on, you know, what level you're at in age. We had this industrialized age. Now, my wife and I met a woman a couple weeks ago. This is, I don't know about you, Sean, but this was mind-blowing for me. This woman is sitting there and she says, she's going to be 90 years old, Mark. 90. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then she's like, she's been around before cars. Are you kidding me? Before cars, before gasoline. Now, I don't know about you. Does 90 years sound like a long time or a short time? Tell me in the chat bar. What does it sound like to you? A long time or a short time? Sounds short to me. Doesn't sound long to me. 5,000 years, that sounds long to me, but 90 years. Now, how long do you think, I don't know the stat the other day, but I think it's over 90-something% of like every human on earth, like adult human, has a cell phone today. Did you ever see the homeless guy? And I always have a heart for them until they break out a newer iPhone than I have. And I'm like, come on, man, you got a better iPhone than me. What the heck's going on here? I mean, everybody's got a cell phone of some kind. And that happened over what, 20 years, let's say? Who remembers beepers? Type in beepers. Because if we don't set a framing here, and some of you are young, you don't even know the framing, you won't know how to leverage what I'm going to teach you. So I'm like pre-beeper too, right? Because I'm level 54. If you want to type in what level you are, type it. I'm level 54. And man, at level 54, I'm not saying to brag, I'm saying I work really hard to be stronger, faster, tougher than I've ever been, and smarter. But if you look at a time where you had to get a beeper, it buzzed. Now, do I have any tradespeople in here? Like I was an electrician by trade. If you were an electrician and had a beeper, this was really bad because you were in a constant state of thinking you were getting electrocuted. Can anybody relate, or there's no electricians here? Like I felt like I was always getting electrocuted every time this thing buzzed in my pocket. So we go back in history and we look, and what is going to make the land of opportunity is the next history is collapsing. And if you don't understand this time frame of what's collapsing, you can't capitalize on the opportunity. Now, what I pride myself on for all of you is I'm not someone who did it and is done doing it. Okay? I built a big service company. I sold it. I built one of the largest coaching companies in the blue collar space, and I sold that in 2020. And now we have this movement we're creating where we help people with what? What's our number one tagline? Do you know? Let's see if anybody knows it in the chat bar. Maybe extra bonus gift for you. I don't know if there's extra because I built these two things and it took me weeks to build these that I'm using in my own company. So, well, I'm going to give these to you, but what is, okay, mind power, pretty close, Chris, pretty close. Life, business, and wealth by design. Lisa, boom. Lisa gets the boom. Okay. Life, business, and wealth by design. If you don't have those by design, you have it by default. Now, any of you that ever sold a company, just so you know, or want to sell the company, Anthony Foster, nice to see you. Heather, I never sold the company. I sold myself into a bigger future that would impact more of the world. Do you get that? Because I could have stayed with my service company. It was tracking for 40 million. I was making $1 million a year in my pocket. I didn't have to, it was running itself for 5 years. I didn't need to do anything else, but people were suffering. So I moved to where they were suffering. Once I impacted an industry, I then noticed there was another suffering, right? It was couples. One of the things we have today is we have like 80% of our members in our programs and stuff are couples. So we have male and female versus my old coaching company. What I did was 99% men, except powerful women like Heather, right? But every room was filled with testosterone and sometimes a little too much, maybe. So we have to look at these trends and these patterns, and we got to look at what is the future holding. That's what you're there. But a lot of people, they waiting too long to look at the future, and the wheels are falling off the bus. Does anybody have any wheels falling off the bus? And anybody who wants the bonuses, Joey, hey, Mandy, nice to see you. Except Danielle. Danielle had an operation today. Danielle, you can stay off camera, but everyone else, you got to be on camera to get the bonuses. And I'm going to be showing you the first bonus in a minute. And when you see how good that is, you're going to want to stay for the rest of it. But not only did I do that, I just want to let you guys know I have my passion project, which is Food Dog Group, with my wife and my son and Aaron, and we have an amazing team with you here today. We got 16 team members that help people's lives every day. I also have a portfolio of companies I'm working on building. Okay, so Heather, the portfolio of companies I'm working on, we want to do 500 million by 2030. So that's in the game, guys. We're not separate from the game. We're in the game. And what I'm sharing with you tonight is the same thing we're sharing with our portfolio companies. Why? Because I want those owners to win and not lose. Am I tracking? Can you type in tracking, please? Can you type in tracking? Man, we got so many. You guys, a lot of you that might be new or not on a lot. Hey, Maddie, nice to see you. You got some really powerful people in the community here. You don't even know who's on here, but you got some real amazing, incredible people here. All right. So let's dig into a couple strategies here. Before we dig into strategies, let's do this. And I have a whole outline of so many things that I want to do. This would help me. What is so I can make sure I answer it, because I have the stuff that I feel you need to know. But what do you think are the top 3 struggles of a business, not today, tomorrow, and not future tomorrow, tomorrow, recession tomorrow? What's the top 3 struggles? Tell me in the chat bar. Is it lead generation? Is it conversion? Is it average? Is it technology? Is it leadership? Is it recruiting? Is it culture? Like, what are if you were to say, Mike, these are the 3 biggest struggles or biggest concerns I have right now. Is it product? Is it manufacturing? Is it the cost of things? Is it inflation? Tell me in the chat bar. Marketing? Yeah, Chris, you know the thing about marketing? All right, let me take a sip on this, because I have about 7 hours of talking and I got a while to go here with you guys. So marketing has changed so drastically. I just told someone a couple hours ago, every marketing I did 5 years ago is dog shit today. It's dog shit. Now, I got to tell you, and I'm sure maybe there's some marketers here, but I'm a marketer, right? I've been on stage with Jay Abraham, highest paid consultant on earth. My friends are people like Kevin Harrington. I got friends, Dean Jackson. Like, I'm a marketer, so it's one of my core skills. I've been doing it for decades now, and I understand copy and graphic and visual images and emotions from colors and landing pages and funnels. I understand all of that. And when I rate and rank the people that are educated in marketing, I'm not talking about this SEO, some basic keyword stuff. I'm saying like ninja in marketing. What percentage of the world do you think, even the agencies out there, what percentage of the world do you think is really amazing marketers? 5%? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat bar. Tom Casey, 1%, 5%. So you might want to write a note there because the first thing is, if you don't even take a guess at what the problem is going to be, you definitely know your solution you have. You know what your solution is, Lisa? If you won't even guess on what the problem is, the solution is you're going to have a problem. You're going to suffer because you're not even guessing because whatever reason, like you're like, and that's why those of you that are any of you thinking about Tom Casey, this is great because one of the things that I did was I wanted to help people that sold a company learn how to build a portfolio of companies and use their knowledge without having the lick stamps, right, Tom? Like the last thing you want to do one day, again, I bet, is go out there and make sure some trucks are not crashing into each other, right, Jim? Like, man, I never woke up one morning and said, I'm going to buy 165 more trucks. Like nobody's ever dreamed that. So I'm curious for you guys, how many of you do have a core skill set in your mind? Like you have some skills. You could, like Lisa, you could help somebody with a bigger massage company, right? And some of you have Jim, just so you guys know, I got Jim Padilla on here. He's like a sales expert. Like, you could help companies with their sales ability. Well, I just want to know, do you ever dream of using your skills to create massive wealth without all the other pain and punishment? Yes? Give me a yes in the chat bar or a boom or something. Because that's really what I would call the fantasy people want. It's to build these things without having all the overhead and all the worries, but all the knowledge. All right. If I get random thoughts in my mind, Heather, that I feel are values, should I share it? Like you guys, Kevin, should I share it? Type in the chat bar. Like Kevin's. I got a lot of Kevins tonight. Clearly, I should market for like Kevins to come on here. Nice to have you, Kevins. It's a great name. So let me share this because it's something I'm very focused on. The knowledge business is going away. Let me say it again. The knowledge business is going away. The wisdom business is coming in. Now, let me identify the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge used to be like, hey, I know a bunch of stuff, but we're very close. What are we going to get put like in our head? I actually have stitches in my head from some things. It's crazy, Mark. I got stitches here and here, and every time I get them cut, you got to wait 2 weeks. Here's the other one. So tomorrow I'm going to get the stitches out and I'm done for a while, which is good. But we're going to have what in our head? Some of you, not me, the Neuralink. Now, you do understand there's a merge between human, live with robot, human becomes robot. This isn't like the Jetson stuff anymore. This is reality. You have to know this because how do you recession-proof yourself if you have knowledge but not wisdom? Now, people are going to crave wisdom because AI and all of you playing with your ChatGPT will give you knowledge. The information you give that it gives you is only effective if you have wisdom. Can you type in a boom in the chat bar when I say something that really resonates? Because I'm telling you things that I'm thinking about with 60% of my day is about these trends and patterns and habits and cycles. If you don't know what changed during the pandemic, you don't know what will change during a recession or depression. What's the number one thing you think changed during the pandemic? There's only one thing that changed during it. Type in the chat bar if you think you know. And if you don't, take a guess. What the heck? Come on, Elizabeth. I've been counting on you here. Take a guess. What you got? Mindset, communication skills. Okay. People say, okay, human consciousness changed with the pandemic. Their consciousness. It totally flipped the script on their paradigm of thinking. How many of you, now not in Florida, if you live in Florida, nothing really changed. Like you're still in the grocery store. Does anybody live Florida, type in Florida, and like you're breathing on each other's neck, right? If we go to Florida, I'm like, dude, back up a little bit. Like I don't have phobia, but you're like, oh, you know, you're on my neck. I'm like, come on, man, give me a little space here for God's sakes, right? But everywhere else in the world, how many of you have a natural barrier now? You don't even know it. You're not doing it because you're freaked out. You've just been programmed. Consciousness has changed. It's changed. The way you make decisions has changed. The way you choose to live. How many of you, this will be a great, I just thought about asking this, Elizabeth. How many of you live in a slightly bigger house than you did before the pandemic? Do any of you live in a bigger house? This would be great. I'm curious tell me something. Yes, no, same. No, same. Jeff's like, no. Denise does, same. Yes, yeah. Okay. Why do you live in a bigger house? Well, damn, you were in the house that with your wife and kids and you were like, you know what? This just wasn't big enough, wasn't it? Right? But when they went to work and they went to school, that house was what? It was big enough for you. It was big enough for you. All right. So thank you for that information. I want to give you guys, I want to do two things. One, this will be a good question too. Are these questions helping you some? Can you write helpful? Because these questions aren't just for me. They're to trigger thoughts in you. You're here to learn from me and learn from everybody by not only the questions I'm asking, because how do you create wealth? Well, let me just tell you, ask a lot better questions than you've been asking yourself. That's it. I don't want to simplify it too much, but I don't have a college degree. I have a degree of hiring really smart people, being braver than most. Like, and I'm not saying this to brag, and some of you might think it's bullshit, but I can justify it. I'll share that in a minute, Tom. But like, I'm over probably 4 million now in my own education. So somebody says, man, like doctors don't need that much education. I'm like, yeah, but I made more than most brain surgeons. I did 500 million in sales between my companies. Like, I'm pretty sure I did more than every heart surgeon maybe together, right? So, and we spent, me, my wife, my team, we spent $250,000 on our own education this year. Why? Well, if I go to you guys and give you information just from myself, that's knowledge. Tom Casey, if I confirm information, I always call it a triangle. I need, you guys should write this down. If you want to make the best decisions, you have a triangle. I need 3 points of verification to move forward. Now, we were just on a training. I don't want to say who it is, but it was a long training. It was 5 days, had a lot of good stuff in it. My wife turned to me after day 1 and she says, is somebody listening to your phone? Like, you've been talking about this for like 5 months and they're regurgitating it. I said, no, it's just I keep doing the 3 points of verification. I think of a thought and then I confirm it with 3 of the smartest friends, resources, groups I'm in. So like maybe one of them, I'm like Jay Abraham. Maybe one of them is my friend Dean. Maybe one of them is Dan Martell's a friend of mine. Maybe one of them, like I have all these cool friends. I'm like, let me confirm with them. And then I take that information, I put it into wisdom. Wisdom is to, write this down, everybody. This has made me millions of dollars, millions and millions. I wanted to make more for you. Everything I do, it's about how do I do it better and different? How do I do that better and different? My health, how do I do it better and different? My children, as a dad, how do I do it better and different? When that's wisdom, is to ask a question, to not tap into your subconscious. And I don't want to get too wild on energy and stuff because some of you are not here for that and you may not even be ready for it. But how do you tap into a length of knowledge and wisdom that you know always been there, but you've never been able to just grab that one piece? Okay. 3 foot from gold. Who knows the story? Type in story. And if you don't, put in question mark in the chat bar. 3 foot from gold. Okay, so most of you know the story. Some of you don't. The story, this is my version. The story is they're digging for gold. Let me see who didn't know it. Okay, Amy, they're digging for gold, and they never hit gold. So they quit. They leave. And someone says, I'll buy that area. I'm going to find gold. They're like, look, we've been digging for gold, Lisa. We've been digging for gold. There's no gold. There's no gold. And so someone else buys it and they go, yeah, there's no gold because you've been digging here. What if we move over 3 feet and start digging? They move over just 3 feet and they dig and they hit gold. So how many of you know you could taste how close you are to gold? You just don't know what 3 feet to move. Tell me in the chat bar. There's no judgments here. Any of you that are sitting here that are new or been in my world, please, if you ever think that I'm perfect, I promise you I'm not. You don't need, and I want to say that because otherwise if you talk too nice about me, my wife's going to think she needs to knock me down a couple notches. So I don't want that. Okay, Elizabeth, that's not funny at all. That wasn't a joke. No, I'm kidding. You can laugh. But so the thing is, yeah, Michelle Wade, nice to see you. Like you could taste it. But it's always easier when someone goes like this, move over. My friend Dean Jackson, he said something so brilliant about marketing. He said, well, first to market, you guys know you got to use the right bait to catch the right fish. Common sense, type in common sense in the chat bar. Common sense, right bait, right fish. Then someone else says, no, Tom, what you need is you need a fish finder. You got to go out there and with the fish finder, you'll see there's a pool of fish. Drop it there. Dean Jackson says, this is my version. You're one of the best marketers in the world when you pull the boat out and the fish jump in the boat. That's the difference between a master, right, and a hobbyist. A hobbyist says, I got to keep getting bait and lures and this. A master goes, pull up, fish jump in the boat. It's one of the first things we do when we partner with company. We look at the avatar, which is, let me give you first step of, I want to give you an action item right now. Step number 1 of this recession proofing in this new economy is know your avatar. Now, if you don't know what avatar is your perfect client. It's changed. I promise you. Does anybody want to disagree with me? It's changed. For me too. Now, avatar is not as simple as age and how old and where they are. I am on in the last 2 weeks now. We were on with one of our consultants we pay a lot of money to. And he's like, okay, in 2 weeks, you redid it again. You'll probably redo it again. I mean, I must have 60 hours on this project, asking people, surveying, checking, questioning. But if we know that consciousness has changed and humans changed, there's a good chance your client has changed. If not the ones you have, the ones you're trying to get. Yes? Can I get a yes in the chat bar or a hand up? Yes? Okay. All right. Let me give you the first bonus. Can I give it to you? Can you type in bonus in the chat bar? But oh man, some of you better flip on your camera for 1 minute because Maddie, your camera was already on. So I'm going to make sure you get it. All right, here's the bonus. I built a what I call the economic crisis guide. I'm not going to go through the whole guide with you because I have, but I'll go through a little bit with you because it is the #1 strategy for recession proofing your business is you got to have a guide and you got to have a checkoff sheet of things because now I don't know where any of you in the military here, can you type in military in the chat bar? Anybody in the military or fly planes or anything? Okay, thank you for your service if you've been in the military. I know one thing because I've trained with a lot of them. I've trained with SEAL Team 6 guys. I've trained with a lot of law enforcement, doing martial arts for 38 years, a lot of times that this is a training knife, they would come to me so I could tell them how to pick tendons out of people's arms, right? And like collapse muscle in their body. But it's not about that. They have a checkoff sheet on how we got to run the play. Now, it doesn't mean they don't have a formula when bullets come shooting from places unexpected, right, Mark? Like that happens too. Like there's a target, there's a plan, but there's critical thinking when all hell breaks loose. Okay, so I want to give you the plan that helps you. Now, this is not going to be the done all. It's going to give you a little kickstart. If you want the done all and you want to be able to like really know what's in here and leverage it to scale and exit or impact your world, well, then you should attend Speak Your Impact or Venture Velocity. And I hope you guys know, like, I'd love to have some of you there, but I'm also don't want you to feel I'm not here to sell any of you on it. That's not the life I have to do today after doing 500 million in companies. But if I don't offer and extend an opportunity to you, then you might be forced to get in your own way. Have any of you gotten in your own way? Can you type in the chat bar? Have any of you just done that? Here's what I built for you. I took my process, our crisis guide that we went over with, all our different companies we have. We reviewed it with all our coaches, all our consultants, said, is there anything missing on this? And we ran the play on this, and we're running it as our own personal checkoff sheet. So let me show it to you. I'll blow it up a little bit. I'm going to go through it pretty quick. So here's our economic crisis guide. If for some reason after I show it you don't want it, just type in no. But if you do want it, type in boom in the chat bar. So it has a whole checkoff sheet here of financial stability and cash flow management. Now I'm giving you the bracket. I didn't give you the description because it take like probably a day to go through this, right? But you could do some of your own research and maybe some of it, it makes enough sense right now for you. And some of you come to the training and I'll make sure you have this. But so here we have this financial stability and cash flow management. Can you tell me in the chat bar, just type in crisis if you know you need to manage that. Type in crisis. You do know that, right? And there's a bracket there where you got to review cash flows in. Now, some of this might make sense to some of you, but I bet guys that are really in the world here, Jim and Tom and a bunch of you, do you guys know some people that are not focused on number one right now? Let me open up my chat bar. Like, tell me, do you know some people not focused on that? Like, yeah, and it's scary because if you're not focused on that, you're going to focus on the problem. And when the problem shows up, it's hard to course correct, right? It's hard to course correct. Write this down. Wealth is nothing more than reverse engineering the right strategy at the right time. Wealth is nothing more than reverse engineering the right strategy at the right time. Thank you, team. Can you guys give love to my team in the chat bar? Do they like just kick ass for you guys? They go and they type stuff in, right? And I'll probably have some time to maybe get a couple questions from you guys at the end too. Number 2, cost optimization. All right. Should we just pay the way we always paid, or should we be smart about what we're paying? Right? So you have to optimize your cost. You have to look at the non-essentials. Let me share a story with you really quick because some of you heard it, but you haven't heard it in a long time. If you know who Jay Abraham is, type in Jay. If you don't, put a question mark. He is the only person. Okay, so Wolf, if you look up Jay Abraham, he's one of the highest paid consultants on planet Earth. Okay. Sometimes just to work for him for one day, it's $120,000 for just the day. And that's if he likes you, right? And I worked with him one-on-one for 3.5 years, a one-on-one coaching. So I don't need to tell you how many cars and how much money I spent on that. And your question should be, why did you spend that much time with Jay? If you go back about 2017, 2015, I donated to a charity And Mark, part of the charity was you get to spend a half day with Jay Abraham. And I also got to spend a half day with my other friend, Joe Polish, who I was already friends with. And I was friends with Jay, but I was like, man, if I could get a half day with this guy, and I believed in the charity, I would not just give money to a charity I didn't believe in. Like if the charity is like drinking sheep's blood and satanic rituals, like I'm not going to donate that. It's not me, right? I don't do that stuff. But it was a great charity. So I went to spend a half day. So I got 4 hours with this guy. And I'm thinking I'm a big shot. Jim Clark, I'm like, I'm doing 20 million. You know, I got big, like, big bird cock feathers up. Look at me. I'm like, Lisa, I'm like the king of the king, all impressed about myself. And in 2 hours, he turns around and looks at me and goes, you know, most people are burnt out. And in martial arts, when your arm's going to get broken, you slap like UFC. If you don't slap loud enough, your arm will get armbarred and broke. It's 2 hours in. He's like, Mike, most people pretty much can't handle more than this. And I'm like this, Mark Lund, I'm like this. I'm like tapping out. I'm like, my ego was so adjusted. I was so humbled. He said, look, we'll get on a call. We'll do another 2 hours. We were at the Ritz-Carlton in California. He goes, we'll get on. We'll spend more time together. But listen, take what I taught you. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I made 2 commitments. Can I give you the 2 commitments? Type in 2 in the chat bar. The one commitment I made is he said to me, what's the profit in your service company? And my profit, Heather, at the time was like 1.5%. I was doing 20 million, so I felt really good. But like Jim Clarkson, right? A lot of people have big numbers and no profit, Jim, right? Big body, no heart. They're like having strokes every day. I just had someone the other day. They're like, I'm doing 15 million. And I'm like, oh, cool. What's your profit? They're like, bad, have no cash flow. I'm like, stop being impressed, man. I was impressed like that too. So he said to me, what's the profit? And I said, like 1.5%. And he looked at me. Did any of you have like a real strong father image? Type in father in the chat bar. My dad transitioned, passed away in November last year. He's a very strong man, big Italian guy. And Jay Abraham just looked at me and he said to me, when I said the profit, he said, that's horrible. That's all he said to me, Mark. That's horrible. And I went, like, I was like, oh my God, like, this is really bad. And so when I left, my first decision, Lisa, was I have to change this immediately. So what's another big lesson for recession proofing? The more profitable are, the more sustainable you are. Let me say it again. The more profitable you are, the more sustainable you are. Can I get a hand up? Yes. Do we agree? Hand up? Yes. Yes. So that's decision 1. I said, that's it. I'm going to fix it. And I went to double-digit profit in less than a year. Now, that's a big deal. That's a big deal to take a big company and go from 1% to 11% in less than a year. Like, that is like, remember the movie Sylvester Stallone, Over the Top? Man, it's like over top against that big, bald monster guy. Number 2 decision I made, and I hope you'll make it today. I'm never going to be burnt out by another expert again in my life. I won't do it. I am going to master this information. So I challenge you a little bit while we're going through this sheet. Maybe I'm the one that you want to master next. Maybe it's what we're talking about. Because I do know people that have mastered the stuff we taught. Mastering creates wealth. So that was my number 2 commitment. Let me get back in the sheet here, everybody. So cost optimization. Next one, revenue diversification. Okay, answer this for me. And are you guys getting value? Can you type in value in the chat bar, please? Can you type in value? Type in value in the chat bar. And if any of you, a team, put those 2 links in or the calendar invite. If any of you want to come to either one of those trainings, fill out the form. Or if you want to have a call with me, fill out the form. And if you guys, some of you just might need financing. If you do, I'll help you out with some financing. I hate saying no to anybody. So revenue diversification. Everybody knows the phrase, but not everybody does the phrase. Don't put all your eggs in what? Answer it for me. Don't put all your eggs in what? Come on. In one basket. Why? Because if all your eggs are in one basket, now I learned this in a really big way. Well, I learned it a couple times. One, if you're in the electrical business, that shit like rarely breaks. Like, when's the last time you guys had like lots of electrical problems in your house? Like, you just don't have it. So that's like one revenue, and you got to keep trying finding a house with an electrical problem. HVAC is different. That shit breaks all the time. It needs to be tuned up all the time. Plumbing, always dripping, leaking, right? So that was one of my big things is I knew years ago, and for the recession, if you want to become recession proof, you need to be diversification proof. Can you write that down, please? You got to be diversified. Why do you think you can go to Walgreens? You guys know Walgreens, right? Or CVS. Why do you think you can go there in Walgreens and you can get like, see a doctor, buy insurance? Some of them you could get glasses. Why do you think? Diversification. Diversification. What about Costco? Tell me something you could get at Costco. Do you know Costco's or BJ's or Sam? What can you get there? The answer to me is what can you not get, right, Mark? Like you could get gas, you could get tires, you could buy a car from them, you could buy diamonds, you could buy alcohol, you could buy eggs, you could buy food, clothes. Why? Revenue, diversification. Robert says they're tanking now. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure. And if you want to see the biggest company in the world tank, Amazon, one of them, we're in the #1 age where you could see Amazon get their ass kicked. ChatGPT AI has the #1. I never knew what the vehicle's going to be, but I always know the biggest person can always get their leg, sweep the leg, right? So we got to have revenue diversification to protect ourselves. Now, I'm not telling you revenue confusion. I'm not telling you like you own an insurance company and go sell berry juice. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you what is the easiest other service. Well, I'll share a real-time example here. We're heading into 2008. Okay, check this out, Kevin. 2008. And I know we have to diversify more. So if you're not doing this, you could do this strategy. I'm listening to the calls that the girls are taking. We had majority girls in there listening. And they kept saying, oh, no, we don't do that at this time. Let me find someone for you. And I said, what did they ask for? And they said oil. They have oil heat. And we didn't do oil heat. So I was like, well, how many times do we get the call? They said, we get it quite a few. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So I went out to the warehouse and I asked the guy, Wayne, I said, do you have a whiteboard? This guy seemed to pull stuff out of like God would drop stuff in his hands. I got a whiteboard. Where do you want it? He hangs this whiteboard in the room, and I tell everybody, you want to pay attention right now to what I'm saying, everybody. I said, every time someone calls our company and asks for something we don't do, I want you to write it on the board and then put a check mark. Because guess what? My marketing is attracting it. Do you get that? Tell me, get it in the chat bar, please. I bet a lot of you can just double your company just by looking at what you're losing. Instead of focusing on gaining something else, just look at what you're losing, right? So now I come the next day, I look at the board and I see oil, 3 check marks. The next day, 8 or 9 check marks. I'm going to myself, wait a minute here. So I go to my partner and I say, why don't we do oil? He says, well, it's dirty. The guys don't like it. Now, what's the question I ask myself? Do I say, okay, I guess we shouldn't do oil? Is that a good answer? Yes or no? No, it's a shitty answer. So you know what I do, Mark? I grab all the HVAC guys in a room and I say, who knows how to work on oil heat? 5 hands go up. I said, everybody else, thank you. Go back to fucking work, right? Because we got to make money. Go to work. Go to work. They go to work. The 5, I say, how many of you hate oil? Can't stand the way it smells. It's dirty. It's greasy. The one guy raises his hand. He says, I hate it. I said, go to F and work. Go. Get on a job. Go. The other 4 guys, I said, tell me about oil. And the one guy, Jim, goes like this. Smells his hand. I'm thinking, creepy dude right now, right? He's like, I love it. I love how it smells. I love the work on it. I love every part of it. I said, stay here. Stay here. All 4 of them say, I have no problem with oil. I go to my warehouse guy, say, what do we need to do? Well, actually, I walked the 4 guys to the warehouse. This guy, Joe Oski, we had. I said, okay, tell Joe everything you need to put in your truck to do oil tomorrow. So they tell him, they leave. I go to Joe. I said, what do they need? He said, and I don't know oil, guys. Some of you might. He said, oh, I need this little vacuum. I need this thing of nipples and these little whatever pointy things. I'm like, okay, how fast can you get it? He says, probably tomorrow. I said, it's morning. What do you mean tomorrow? So now you probably figure out not all of you are fit to work for me, right? I'm like, what do you mean tomorrow? Like tomorrow, we're late, right, Jim? Tomorrow's late, man. The dollars are today. So I said, 4 o'clock. I want it here by 4 o'clock. I told everybody that was the 4 people, be here tomorrow, started selling oil. Between the oil replacements, we added $1 million in a year just by doing that one thing, put a check on the board and make a decision. So you guys tell me, let's think a little bit, because I don't want this to be me just talking at you. I want to talk with you. If you were to think, even if you guess and you're not going to do it, if you were to think of one thing to bolt on to diversify your business today, what would it be? Type it in the chat bar right now. What would it be? What would it be? One thing. Come on, let's think. Let's think together. HVAC. Okay, what's one thing? Call audits, appliance repair. Just so you guys know, anybody in the service industry, pest control is like the #1 lead generation tool. It's actually, I don't have it in the portfolio, but if any of you know, I still have, I'd love to have a pest control company in the portfolio, because not only can I make so much money off of pest control, I can make money off the referrals that pest control would give other companies, that even if I made $1 million in the pest control company, I'd make 2 to 3 million by the referral network I would create from it, because of how it force feeds stuff in a house, because they're in an attic, a basement, 360 inside and out. Okay, so hot side and restaurants, okay? In process now, stay in the home longer, age in place product. Yeah, and okay, Jeff, I'm coming at you here. It's never about stay in the house longer. It's about you didn't ask really good questions on the front end. Okay, can I teach you guys my Marriott thing? I got to get back in the sheet. Will you guys stay another 20 minutes with me? Yes, type in 20. All right, you going to stay with me? Because afterwards, I'm going to spend another 30 minutes with my clients and answer deeper questions, but I want to do another 20 with you. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm enjoying you guys. So I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm on with Marriott. Now, if you ever booked a thing with Marriott, when you're done with the call, book in your room, what do they say to you, Jeff? They say, by the way, would you stay on to hear about a special offer? Stay 3 days in Hawaii or whatever. And I'm a guy, most of you go, no. I'm like, put me on with them, because I want to start knowing their conversion, their average, how many people buy, how many don't buy. And because I know how to communicate, they tell me shit I'm pretty sure they shouldn't tell me, right? And I started to think, wait a minute, Jim Clark's going to remember this from a long time ago, Jim. I created what was called the 1+1 model. The 1+1 model. Every time somebody called, now apply this to any business. I'm not a best practice organization in one trade, right? I'm a life, business, and wealth design solution. So I'm a board of advisors for, right now I feel comfortable in about 500 different industries, right? So put it to your company. So I said, here's what I'm going to do, Jeff. When the woman calls, because the delusion in a lot of companies is the job is to book a call. That's so stupid. That's not the job, to book a call. The job is to set a stage that the customer is already said yes to what you're going to offer before you even get there. That's the job. So I said, what if we do this? Hey, Mrs. Jones. Jeff, what trade do you do? Type in the chat bar. What trade? He said mobility products. Aging in place. Write that down. Aging. Okay, mattress store. So I think I wanted you to tell me like what kind of mattress I should get. So send me a message or something. But whatever they say, I want to know what's the next thing. Oh, you're coming in for a mattress. Perfect. I got you scheduled. We're open 9 to 5, whatever. We have a bunch of different models. By the way, when you come in, a lot of people that are looking for mattresses are also looking for specialty bed frames or specialty coverings. Is that the case for you? Because I'd like to let the person know that you're going to come in and be looking for multiple things. So what did I do? I created awareness of you're not coming for one, you're coming for two. It's a 1+1 model. Later, I took it up to 3 things. 3 things. Oh, Mark, so I understand we got you scheduled for a water heater, no problem. Mark, a lot of people that call us that have a water heater problem, they also tell us they're wondering about the quality of their water. If that's the case for you, I'd love to do a free water quality test. Could I put you down for that? He's like, hell yeah, why not? It's costing me nothing. Perfect, Mark, I got you down for this and this. Mark, a lot of people that are interested in water quality, they say, you know what, Mike, I don't even know when's the last time I got my ducts cleaned or the quality of the air. And they say, Mike, do you think you would have the extra time and could you check that for free too? And I'm like, absolutely, Mark. How about I check that for free? Boom, 3. Ready? Jim Pierce for the slam dunk. Hey, by the way, I got you booked. We're going to look at the water heater. We're going to get you all taken care of. I want to make sure you have the time for us to do all that. We're going to take a look at the quality of your water, Lisa, because I want you to have, good water for health. We're going to check the quality air. And by the way, you're not going to be interested in this, but you might know a friend, a family member, or a neighbor that is. A lot of people are saying with the storms and the weather changing, they want backup generators. If that's the case, if you know any friends or family, I'd love to share the most recent promotion we have, which is almost like getting it for free. Do you know anybody that comes to mind? And there's a good chance they say what? Tell me in the chat bar. Maddie, what do they say? So if every transaction you have with people, they bought 4 things, what happens to your company? This is recession proofing, what I'm just telling you right now. It's recession proofing. And every time, it doesn't matter what company, it could be an insurance company, it could be an IT company, an AI company, a doctor company, a banking company. Every time I listen to the transaction and I look at the marketing flow to the conversation flow, easily you could double the size of any business just by improving that. All right, let's go back to the sheet, guys, because I want to get through this for you before you go tonight. And some of you probably got a pee bad and you're holding it and stuff. All right, so revenue diversification. Next one. Customer retention and relationship management. Okay, so what do you do here? The strategy to write down for all of you is you need to put in a customer satisfaction survey, not after they just buy, for existing clients too. How do you feel? Now, you know how I learned, Mark, to sell, to get additional add-on products? Hey, Mark, we're just doing a survey. I just wanted to know 1 question. Would you refer us to friends and family? And number 2 question, ready for this? And you guys better give me boom with some dollar points. I'm not kidding, because how do you do over 500 million in sales in multiple companies? I'm telling it to you now. And if you want to solidify and build your blueprint, just so you guys know, if you come to Venture Velocity, you leave with your blueprint to go do deals. If you come to Speak Impact, you leave with your blueprint to go out there and make an impact. We're going to map that out for you guys. Here's what I did. Mark, if there was a product that you're buying from someone else or you thought about buying and rather buy from us, what would it be? I'm going to sit here like I lost my voice, so you don't know if okay, thank you. Thank you, Mark. If there was a product that you were thinking about buying or you buy now from someone else, but rather buy from me, what is it? And what if they tell you it's an easy bolt-on? You guys will turn cash. I want this free time together to be worth more money than any training you've ever attended from anybody. That And why? Because if you imagine what you're getting here in 90 minutes for free, imagine what you get when it's not free, I guess, right? So customer retention strategies, crisis communication. Well, I don't know, Jim Clark. I don't know if the company I sold did real good there when they said they're refusing to respond. I don't know if that was crisis communication. Crisis communication is we're thrown a goose egg, right? We're thrown a curveball. How do we respond to things without panic, without nervousness? You get a bad review or something, right? So we got to know because, all right, answer this for me. Do you think lawsuits, suing people for money over the next 2 years is going to go down or go up? What do you guys think? It's going to go down or go up? Going to go up. Why? Well, is crime going to go down or go up over the next 24 months? What do you think? Crime. It's going to go up. Why? Because it's historically proven that when economic times go down, crime and lawsuits go up because they're going to try to find money from somewhere. What does that mean to you? Let me give you a crisis tip. Ready, everybody? Evaluate your umbrella policies today. Go to your insurance provider and check it today. And I promise, and if you guys need a workman's comp person, we have somebody that's in one of my programs. He's an expert at workman's comp. If you want to have a call with him, he'd be honored to have a call with you guys. You just let our team know. We have the top, we got fractional CFOs, fractional CMOs. So if you need a ninja team and you're tired of people out there, you let me know. I'll connect you with our personal team people, okay? So umbrella policy. Those of you that might have sold companies, exited, and have wealth, you better raise your umbrella policy. I just did mine again. I just added another 5 million. Why? Because of economic crisis guide. People are going to be coming and they don't go for, no one goes and tries to sue the broke ass person in a home that has no heat and come to sue people like you. You're successful. You're not here because you're not successful. The non-successful people are not here. The successful people that want more success, those are the ones that normally follow me. I mean, our sweet spot is companies that are doing $1 to $10 million that are normally married people with children, and they're looking to scale and build legacy style wealth. Is that any of you? Type in legacy in the chat bar. That's my world. That's our, now it's not that we don't have people under $1 million and we got people over, 50 million, but that's our sweet spot. All right. Supply chain resilience. Okay. Now this crisis, this wasn't built, Jason, just for work. This was built also supply chain. It affects your house. How many of you had a project in your home that was held up because of supplies? Tell me in the chat bar. Type in supply, right? A lot of people. So you want to make sure you have these inventory buffers. Don't get to November and tell me, Mike, I can't get furniture or mattresses or air conditioners or massage oil. I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? Didn't you predict anything? Didn't you do supply chain resilience? If that makes sense, tell me, give me a boom in the chat bar. You got to look at these things, right? You got to look at these things. Okay, workforce management. Well, you have to reassess all your staffing needs. Does everybody in your company, well, you tell me, and hopefully, well, if you have employees on here, don't say it, but you probably don't. If you looked at your culture of employees right now, how many of them, what percentage of them are you say like they're all in with you? They love the company, love the brand. It's not a job. It is a passion. It's a power. And like what percentage like, so we got 100%, 90% all in. So good. So you have workforce management, 100%. If you don't, now 100%, man, that's really good. 90%, that's really good. Make sure you're looking at it. and you can't let it go off track at all. But I'm glad. I love seeing the numbers because it's easy to, if you have those numbers, you must be scaling by 30 to 50% because, 50% of the workforce dialed in creates 50% of the outcome because the other 50% is just marketing and we're there, right? The right message goes to the right people and sales just happens. Like you don't have to sell anybody. So, okay, let's go to the next thing. Strategic planning and scenario analysis. Okay, this one you should do. So all of you that have these amazing teams, you want to write this down and do this in the next week. Get them all in a room and say, here's the scenario. The internet goes down for 3 weeks. What do we do? The marketing breaks. Well, this was a fun one. When I was in Yellow Pages, Mark Lund, you won't even believe this. Art. They put my ad, they put Roto-Rooter's phone number in my ad. A double truck Yellow Page ad. $4,000 a month ad. They put Roto-Rooter's phone number in it. That was a shit show, right? So when you're doing this, what happens if your phone goes dead? If you have a portfolio of companies, what if it goes? One of the people I'm interviewing this week, if some of you want a connection, you're not in the world, on Thursday, those of you that are in Legacy, on Thursday, I'm bringing my friend again. He runs a company where you take your business money, you put it in their account, they diversify it amongst many banks. The biggest companies in the world are in there. Why would you, tell me in the chat bar, why would you want your money, little or a lot, diversified against a bunch of banks? Tell me. Do you think there's like Wells Fargo may not go down? Yeah. Like FDIC insured covers 250,000 and you're lucky to get the money. So under strategic planning and scenario, can you write banking diversification? Can you put that as a bonus for you guys? Banking diversification. Okay. But you got to do simulations. Any of you that are in military, like, what do you do? It's simulations. Get in the fake plane, right? Shoot fake ammunition. You have to run the play under extreme pressure. I did that in martial arts, right? We would have people walk in a dark room, barely lit. We'd have 5 guys in there with ski masks. How do you know you can survive it? You have to run the play. You better know who to hit, where to go, where to kick. So every one of you, I'd like for you right now to write in the chat bar, what's one scenario you have to run in your business or life? Could be a health one. Could be a family one. Good, I want one from everybody before we go to number 9 here. Culture. Yeah, I had 5 employees, 5 key employees leave in 1 week. That happened to me twice in my career. My general manager tried to start his own business so I worked for him. Lost my general manager. What do you think that was like? It was horrible because I never ran. I'm giving you guys all the advantages I didn't have, but no one was telling me, no one was coming to me and saying, run scenarios. What if your manager quits? What if your number 1 office person quits? What if your number 1 service expert quits? What if your best salesperson quits? What if your product, the company that serves your product, goes out of business? Now, there's 3 types of people right now when it comes to scenario planning, Art. Those that won't even think about it because they're just confused. Those that are too scared, they won't think about it because they get nervous. And those that are you guys here, strategic CEOs of their business, chairmen of their life, they think of this. They don't get scared by this stuff. Okay. All right. Number 9, technology and digital transformation. Type a word in the chat bar. Hey, Don, type a word in the chat bar. If you were to give one word to technology today, what's the word you would give? Like unreal, unstoppable, faster than a train. So as digital is changing, you have to ask yourself, are you becoming outdated faster? Right? Are you becoming not efficient as you can? And let's go for the last one because I want to finish up here, is market positioning and branding. Okay, let me tell you what to think about this. Right now, going into a recession, I'm going to give you some things. Write it down, please. Not only should you reevaluate your brand against all the other brands. Okay, so strategic brand analysis. The fact your brand's been around 50 years doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be either tweaked, modified, or enhanced. Okay, so you have to evaluate your brand. The next thing is if you could do an affordable market share study, which is really somebody calling a couple hundred people and saying, when you think about mattresses, who's the first company that comes to mind? When you think about plumbing, what's the first company that comes to mind? When you think about this, what's the first company that comes to mind? Now with social media, if you're, global or United States, you could just ask that online, right? The other thing for market positioning is how is your copy and how are your visuals? Today, it seems like people don't even understand what copy is. Copy is to use words. You might want to write this down. Copy is to use words that talks to the subconscious mind of your perfect client or avatar. That's what copy is. That's what messaging is. You're not talking to their conscious, you're talking to their subconscious. So we want to look at our market positioning and branding. And most people, I put that as 10 because really you have to do all these. But if you go for here, you'll already get a bump in business and then you could chip away at the rest. All right, look at all 10. My team probably gave you the link to get it. You're welcome. And tell me, out of the 10, if you were to think about the one that you need to do tomorrow, because I'm an action guy. I'm not I don't want you to come here and feel motivation. Motivation is you feel good for a moment and then you go away and tomorrow comes, you're back and doing the same shit you did. I'm an action guy. I want to make sure when you leave, you're like, you know what? I'm going to do that tomorrow. So which one of the sheet and strategies is the number one that you want to do immediately tomorrow? Did not see the link? Brian, we'll make sure the link is there. Oh, it's actually in the chat bar. I see it. So look for the download. And we'll make sure we get a list and we email all of you guys. We'll make sure you get it. So if you don't get it, you ask us. And Megan will give you our hotline email. So Megan, type that in the chat bar. You guys will know how to get in contact with us. If you need to get on a calendar with me because you want to talk about how I can serve you or partner with you or help you get to the next level, feel free to book a time. They'll have the link there. All right, if there was, and it is 9:29 on the spot, and I wanted to end at 9:30, but if you have one big question, what would be the one big question you would ask me in the chat bar? And then everybody that's in my world, all my Freedom Tribe or Legacy members, if you guys could stay behind, I would love to spend a little extra time with you guys for some Q&A that came up from this specifically. Okay. Okay, no questions there. Okay, well that's cool too. So what I'm going to do, hey Hank, stay back here. Maddie, stay back here. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got massive value. How do you talk to the subconscious client of an avatar? Okay, hold that, Lisa. Oh no, Lisa, I'm going to give it to you right now. That's going to be the only question I'm going to answer. The rest of you, hear this answer and then go because I'm going to spend some time with clients here. What you got to do is know the avatar so well, you know their past. Like you got to know their past. Like I'm pretty sure if I said Happy Days, the show Happy Days to Mark Lund, or the show MASH, I bet Mark Lund knows the show MASH. So if I use the reference of, did you ever feel like Gomer Pyle? I'm talking to his subconscious mind because he's not thinking about that consciously. He went back in his mind and brought it forward. Okay. So when you know your avatar, your perfect client so well, you could talk to their mind. That's why I can't say it for all of you here, but how many of you, just humor me with this, Jason and all you guys, humor me. How many of you feel like when I'm talking directly to you and only you? Tell me in the chat bar, raise your hand. Yeah? You feel like I'm talking to you. Well, look at the camera. Look what the camera does. It thinks I'm talking to it. Isn't that hilarious what this thing does? It's so wild. If I would just read the fucking instructions once, I would get it dialed in, but I refuse to read the instructions. So, but what that is I'm talking to you because I know you so well, because I was like most of you at one time in your life. Remember, every client you're helping, you want to help them for where you, okay, last thing I'm saying to you guys, and then you guys got to go accept my clients. Ready? But it's going to be very powerful. So if anybody left, they're going to miss out on this. When you're talking in your marketing and stuff, you're talking, you ready for this? To your past self, so you can attract your past self to get them to your current self. Right, Lisa? I'm talking to my past self. I was sore. I was broken. Everything felt out of whack. I was fatigued. My neck, I felt like I had back problems. I sat in a seat. And I know you so well because before I was a massage expert, I felt the same way. Let me help get you to where I'm at today. You guys should all just give me a boom before you go. Hey, all of you except my Freedom Tribe or Legacy, it's been an honor to serve you. There's no music on the way out because I'm going to use every minute of time. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next training. Hopefully some of you will join us at September. Boom.